back after the break. അപ്പോൾ ബ്രേക്കിന് മുമ്പ് പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ ഐ എം ഷുവർ ഓൾ ഓഫ് യു ആർ എക്സൈറ്റഡ്. കാരണം നമ്മൾ ഒരു പക്ഷെ കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ടാവും, വി മസ്റ്റ് ഹവ് ഹേർഡ് ഓഫ് ആയുർവേദിക് കുക്കിംഗ്. പക്ഷേ ആയുർവേദിക് കുക്കിംഗ് എന്താണ്, അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ബെനിഫിറ്റ് എന്താണ്, എങ്ങനെയാണ് അത് ഇനീഷ്യേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് ഹൗ ഡു വി മേക്ക് ഇറ്റ് എ പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് അവർ ലൈഫ് സ്റ്റൈൽ എന്ന് അറിയാനായിട്ട് പലർക്കും ആകാംക്ഷ ഉണ്ടാവും. So to answer all those questions, we have with us Kaushani Desai. She's a food and nutritionist, and she's also an art of living teacher since the past decade. Kaushani, welcome to Women's Era. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Kaushani, so Ayurvedic cooking, it's a topic that many of us have heard. We've heard of the term Ayurvedic cooking, but we really don't know what goes into Ayurvedic cooking. For our viewers, can you please introduce what Ayurvedic cooking is?
First of all, hi to all the viewers. Yeah, Ayurvedic cooking. Ayurveda is very ancient knowledge from India. And the main thing which we take care when we cook in Ayurvedic way is that it should be suitable to the body type. Ayurveda, as per Ayurveda, there are 3 types of constitution: Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So what happens in the family, we are more than 2 or we are more than 4 people, and everybody can have different constitution. So when we individually think that what to cook for Vata, what to cook for Pitta, what to cook for Kapha, sometimes it's like too difficult to understand how to go about it. Because if we are 4 people and all 4 have different constitution, we cannot cook so many things in a day. So for each person, if we cook 4 things, it will be too much work. So how to make that food in a way that it is suitable for everyone? So that is what is important in this workshop in Ayurveda cooking. We come to know about it, how to balance the food with the help of spices, and what is the right method to cook the food so that the prana retained in the food which you need to live the life.
So when you mentioned, Kaushani, that the food is cooked as per the individual's constitution of the body, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So how does food affect all of these components in a human's body? How does it affect us? How does it changes, or how does it help us maintain our equilibrium?
So as per Ayurveda, everything in this universe is made out of 5 elements: fire, water, air, ether, and earth. So these 3 constitutions, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, they are also combined or combination of these 5 elements. Vata is combination of air and ether element. Pitta is combination of fire and water element. And Kapha is combination of earth and water element. In same way, as I said, that everything in this universe is made out of 5 elements. So the vegetables, the grains, the beans, the dal, spices, whatever we use also contains the elements. So if I am Vata and I have air and ether element dominating in my body, if I eat vegetable which is again dominating in air and ether element, it will increase these 2 elements in my body and it can lead to the imbalance of Vata. So that's why when you do pulse diagnosis with a doctor will first check your constitution and then see if there is any imbalance in that constitution or not, and then guide you to lead that diet which will help you to complete that treatment. And in Ayurveda, diet is very important. It says that diet means food is like aushad. And if the diet is wrong, then even the medicine will not work. So that important is diet in Ayurveda. So if I am Vata and if I eat food which is like potato, cauliflower, cabbage, basmati rice or refined food, it increases the air and ether element in me and I'll end up into imbalance of Vata. And that is like mental, physical, some illness or discomfort. So, if you know your constitution, if you understand the food which will be like not pacifying to your body, then the second thing in Ayurveda cooking is how to make it pacifying to your body. So, as I said, by using different spices, by doing seasoning with a right combination, you can balance the food. So, though the people in the same family are different in the constitution, they can at least have something same and we can cook it for all.
Mm.
So, that is our like main purpose in this
Ayurvedic
Ayurvedic
cooking, right?
cooking.
Okay. So another question out of my personal curiosity. People, I think a lot of us will have this misconception that Ayurvedic cooking, the food cannot be tasty because we are focusing only on the health aspect. How true or how false is that?
See, as per the experience, because this course is happening from last 12 years and it had happened in more than 39 countries. So, if the food is not tasty, I think this journey would have not happened. So, the food is absolutely tasty because what is our aim is that the food which we eat, for all the human being, we eat food for happiness. And the food gives us satisfaction, joy. So when we cook food, we should cook food in such a way that it will satisfy all five senses. And the senses will get satisfied when the food is looking good, smelling good, and tasting good. So we have to take care when we cook food in Ayurvedic way that we are going to satisfy all these five senses. And that's why the food which is healthy can be tasty too.
True, very true. Because I'm sure a lot of people they believe that if you want to focus only on healthy food, then you have to eat salads, you have to just eat, green leafy vegetables, and it's not tasty. That's a general impression of people out there, but it definitely not when you consider that food has to appeal to all the five senses. So definitely Ayurvedic cooking also considers taste as an important element. But how is it achieved, Kaushani? Because in Ayurvedic cooking, there are a lot of, like you said, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So depending on what constituents in your body exist, there are some food elements that we avoid, right? So in that case, how does the balance happen between health and taste? Like for instance, if I'm supposed to not eat a certain vegetable because it will increase a certain constituent in my body, so how do I make up for that nutrition? How do I make up for that taste also? How does that?
For example, everybody likes to eat cutlet.
No.
If a Vata person is not allowed to eat potato, if the Vata has increased a lot, but on an understanding level, you know that you should not eat potato. But when you love to eat cutlet, you can't resist when you see cutlet.
Correct.
So that's why we use options in Ayurveda cooking. So if you are not allowed to eat potato, which other options you have with which you can make cutlet and enjoy it?
Right.
So we use yam, we use sweet potato, we can use lotus seed popcorn or rice flakes and different chopped vegetables like broccoli, carrot, bottle gourd, pumpkin, and just adding good combination of vegetable and right spices and make it delicious so that you enjoy also and you don't feel guilty about
Guilty
it.
about. Yeah. So there's health and there's taste as well. So you
Yeah.
get both. So now you mentioned spices, Kaushani. How important are spices as an ingredient in Ayurvedic cooking?
See, in Ayurveda, they say that your medicines are in the kitchen. So
Yeah.
the spices act as medicine.
Med-
So all different spices also have their own property and qualities. So there are, we can just segregate into three, divide into three types. So the cooling spices are good for Pitta because Pitta is fire and water. The hot spices, which are good for Kapha and Vata, which are going to balance that air, ether, water, and earth element. Now, there are some specific spices which are very good for Vata out of this Kapha and Vata combination. So, we just segregate these spices in and divide into three groups and then use spices according to dosha with the vegetable to balance the food. For example, bottle gourd or pumpkin increases vata. If I want to cook pumpkin for everyone in the family, what should I do? So if I use ghee and use cumin seeds with ghee, so this seasoning will help me a lot to balance that vata present in the vegetable in certain amount. I can use fenugreek seed also, which decreases vata. I can use nutmeg, clove, black pepper, ginger. So just by using spices, it helps me to balance the food. So, and it's so easy also because it makes everything so convenient. You have to do only one thing. Just by the help of spices, if you can make it balanced and good for everybody, it doesn't consume so much of your time. And time is like so valuable for everyone.
True. So, speaking of spices and all these different categories of food, there's something that I read about Sattvic, Rajasvik, and Tamasvik. So, these are different types of cooking, or what exactly is that? We can clarify.
Actually, there are three gunas of mind: sattva, rajas, and tamas. And sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic words are from these gunas. So, sattva means cleanliness, purity, brightness, effectiveness, all the positive quality, happiness, and knowledge. So, sattvic food will help us to purify the body and calm the mind. And the nature of this food is light, rich, and full of prana, and pure.
Right.
So, what all, and it helps us to build up the good tissues in the body. It helps us to maintain the health. And on the very subtle level, we can, by just eating by sattvic food, it helps us to restore the harmony and balance between body and mind. And this balance is something necessary for all of us, for all the living being. When we are out of balance, when the mind and body is not in the balance, then it's very difficult to maintain discipline in life. Then maybe what is good for body, mind doesn't want to do. What is good for mind, body doesn't want to do. And then the life is little difficult. So sattvic food helps in this. And there are different food which are included in sattvic category, like fresh fruits and vegetable, like grains, beans, and pulses, like spices. Most of the spices like ginger, then cumin, then clove, cardamom, saffron, mint, curry leaves, which we use in our day-to-day life. Then fresh milk, and nowadays this vegan is very popular.
Yes. Yes.
People have lot of lactose intolerance problem.
Yeah.
So that's why drinking A2 category milk, which is from Desi Indian cow breed, that comes under Sattvic. The curd made out of this milk, same like curd, buttermilk, cream, butter, ghee, all these products from the A2 milk, if we can make, they all come under Sattvic category. So dry fruit, nuts, then oil seeds. Like that, Rajas is another guna. Rajas means when a person is have lot of when the person have lot of workaholicness and they work with two emotions mainly, that is attachment and aversion, rag and dvesh. The result is that the person can do anything, whether it is constructive or destructive. And when you cannot understand the difference between constructive and destructive, it's a big problem to understand what is right, what is wrong, what we should avoid, what we should do. So Rajas has this impact. But the positive thing about Rajas is that it helps us to, like, to the body and mind. It will stimulate our body and mind into action. So to do any action in life, we need Rajas. But it should be in a proportion. When it is more than the proportion, then hyperactivity, restlessness, sleeplessness, anger, irritation, all these things we may face in the life.
Right.
So in Rajasic food, what all will come? So fried food, which people generally love to
Generally
eat.
prefer.
Yeah, and prefer also. Then extremely spicy food, extremely salty food, extremely sour food. Non-vegetarian food, alcohol, coffee, pickles. fermented food, too much of onion, garlic, chili, or too much of broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, mustard. Mustard not in a seed form,
Okay.
but the way we use mustard sauce.
Sauce. Yeah.
Or we powder the mustard and then ferment the food.
Right.
In such way, mustard can be rajasic. In the same way, tamas. Tamas is like it's out of lack of knowledge. When a person is lacking in knowledge, then only tamas can be the result.
Tamas is darkness, if I'm not wrong. What the word?
Yeah, you
the
can
meaning of the
say
word?
like tamas is like darkness. You
Yeah.
can understand
Ignorance
it.
or
Yeah,
darkness,
ignorance,
yeah.
darkness,
Right.
lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
So it gives lot of anger, lot of excitability, then stubbornness, laziness, small mind, and enjoy doing negative things
Negative
like
things,
troubling people, doing crime, doesn't matter for them. It's somehow it gives joy.
Oh,
So
right,
that
right.
is a sign of tamas.
Tamas.
And tamasic food, first of all, it will give dullness and inertia
Okay.
on mind level. And then confusion, disorientation, anger, irritation, toxins. It increases the level of toxins. And the food comes under this category is like processed food, refined food, artificial colored and flavored food, then white sugar, white flour, non-veg again, cheese, too cold food like cold coffee, ice cream, too cold milk, then sour
Soft
cream,
drinks.
soft drink, sour curd, etc.
Oh.
And even cooking in a, like if you cook sattvic food in a tamasic environment, it will become tamasic. That much
Oh my
effect
God.
of mind is there on food.
Involved in cooking.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So
So this tamasic food, Kaushani, like you mentioned, all these non-vegetarian, but they also fall under Rajasic as well. So when we increase the proportion, when it goes into an imbalance, that is when it becomes tamasic. Is that correct?
yeah, excess of rajas transform into violence is tamas.
Right. Okay.
So if we cannot control the rajas at one point, it can easily get converted into tamas.
Into tamas.
So it's like a very delicate line is there between two.
We should be very, very careful then,
Yeah.
I think. Okay, I have a few questions after you clarified that for me. Now, when you mentioned that onion, garlic, they're all predominantly Rajasic, but in most Indian cuisine, we these are ingredients that we tend to add. For example, I think there's very few dishes that come without onion and garlic in a major Indian cuisine, item. So how do we avoid a vegetable that we use so constantly in our day-to-day life?
See, if we understand, then it's easy to avoid.
Yeah.
When we have information, we want to do it, but somehow we can't do it because the awareness is lacking.
Yeah.
So, right information with awareness, everything becomes easy. See, as you said that we use onion and garlic in most of the Indian cuisine, but this is out of choice we started doing it. This is like nowhere it's mentioned compulsory we need to do this. So out of choice we have changed a lot of things on the name of tradition. And that's why we actually right now if you see tradition, we are lost. Like we don't know actually what is called tradition.
And what is not.
Yeah, and what is not. So onion and garlic is a very good medicine in Ayurveda. Like
Okay.
onion can kill the bacteria, so it's antibacterial.
Okay.
And garlic lowers the cholesterol, it lowers the vata.
Okay.
But the way we use it spoils everything. So if we change our ways and if we understand
Right.
its property and use it according to the property, the problem is solved. So we should not see onion and garlic only as a food ingredient. It does much more than that. It has a lot of medicinal property. And as I say to this question most of the time, that how we know that crocin is a medicine and we don't take it every day without any reason.
Yeah.
So if we understand onion and garlic is a medicine, then we don't feel tempted to use it like in everything.
In every dish. Right.
So radish, if you grate radish and then
Okay.
cook it little bit,
Okay.
it gives you onion taste.
Oh.
Same with cabbage. So that's why we give options. We don't want people to stop enjoying their life.
Okay.
So that's why we always come up with different options to
Options.
please the audience.
Alternatives without
Alternatives.
compromising on taste and
Yes.
higher on health quotient, right? That's really interesting. Welcome back after the break. We're still in conversation with nutritionist and specialist in Ayurvedic cooking, Kaushani Desai. Kaushani, a couple of quick questions on general misconceptions and myths that people believe. People tend to adopt an Ayurvedic lifestyle or an Ayurvedic style of cooking, eating, or even yoga for that matter, because they want to lose weight. It's the in thing, it's a trend now. You want to lose weight, eat vegetarian food, eat sattvic food. You want to lose weight, do yoga. Is that really the true intention of Ayurvedic cooking? Just losing weight?
I think it's much more than that. See, yoga, Ayurveda, when we start following it, we are going to gain good things and lose things which are not necessary for us. So I'll not say that you will lose something if you'll do this, but you gain so much goodness that you can easily lose, which is not required.
Right.
So I would see it like this more than only losing weight.
So it's a lifestyle, it's a holistic lifestyle
Yeah.
change, right? So
It's
like
a
you rightly
holistic
said, I think
lifestyle.
you get rid of all the negatives. It's not only in your body, but it's also in the spirit and in the mind. And you gain everything that is positive and energizing for a wholesome life. It's not just your body. Going back to our earlier conversation, Kaushani, we discussed about how we can incorporate dairy products and nuts also as a part of our healthy lifestyle. But a lot of people these days are either lactose intolerant, they have allergy towards dairy products, or even allergy towards consuming nuts. So, is there any alternative for this, or how does a balance achieve there?
Mainly dairy products are advisable not to kapha people in more amount. For pitta and vata people, having dairy product is good. But nowadays people have lactose intolerance problem. One of the main reason is, as I told you earlier, A1 and A2, there are two
Yeah.
types of milk. And when A1 milk can leads to many health and health problems.
Right.
So people consume lot of A1 milk
Okay.
or consume the product out of A1 milk, and they are into this problem now that lactose intolerance. But what I have observed is with lactose intolerance, also a person consumes A2 milk, they don't have much problem. We gave like 2-3 people who were having lactose intolerance A2 milk, and after consuming that milk, they were having no problem. So actually, this problem is raised by eating wrong type of milk or drinking or using wrong type of milk. It's either from cow milk, either from cow milk, which is not the desi variety,
Okay.
like Jersey cow or Holstein cow, hybrid cows, or buffalo milk contains that A1 protein.
Right.
So if we go with the A2 protein milk, the cow which has hump, our Indian breed cows, not only in India, in Brazil and Argentina, people did a lot of research on this. And now they have grazed more cow than India, this A2 category.
Okay.
And last year, even in New Zealand, they exported cow from India.
Right.
And now they are also believing in A2 milk and they want to graze this breed in their country. So the awareness is spreading about the right knowledge, and I'm very happy with that. And even we have nowadays A2 milk powder, frozen dried. It's available in Amazon and many other online links are there to buy it. And I'm sure by that is the good option for lactose intolerance people. When it comes to nut allergy, like when people come to know about their lactose intolerance, they just switch to cashew milk, almond milk, and it's heavy for digestion. And too much of nuts, if we have, it may have impact on pitta and vata. And it's because it's too heavy, it may have impact on kapha also. So in a moderating amount, in a moderation, if we consume, it's not a problem.
Okay.
But the way we consume, like we process those nuts also and make milk which can be stored for longer period, which is not the truth. If I make almond cream at home, I can't keep it for more than 8 hours on room temperature. It ferments.
Right.
So seeds are the best option for
Option.
that. Sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds,
Okay.
chia seeds,
More than nuts. That's
more
the
than
perfect
nuts.
alternate.
Or coconut milk.
Coconut milk, yeah. I
It's
wanted to
very,
ask that. Yeah.
yeah, Kerala
It's
thing.
desi also. Because seeds, I observed that a lot of chia seeds, sunflower seeds are used in Arabic cuisine. A
Uh-huh.
lot of Middle Eastern cuisine use these nuts heavily,
Yeah.
while we use coconut more. So I
Yeah.
think for us, coconut will be a good alternative.
Because in coconut milk, you can make 3 types of milk. One is like buffalo milk, that is first milk. Second is
Yeah.
like cow milk. Third is like goat milk.
Goat milk, yeah.
And fourth is like bhaya's milk in India. They add water and
Water
drink.
and-
So you can make all 4 varieties with coconut. Not a problem.
So we have one element that gives us so many different choices,
Yeah.
which is coconut, right? Okay, now what I want to know is Ayurvedic cooking, is it only restricted to Indian cuisine, or can we experiment with world cuisine? Like if you want to have a Mexican dish, if you want to have an Italian dish, say pasta, for example, is can Ayurvedic cooking technique be adopted to that?
See, in past 11 years, this course has happened in more than 39 countries. It includes like Pakistan, Russia, Europe, Africa, Indonesia, Hong Kong, Middle East. And everywhere, we are not teaching Indian cuisine. What I do when I reach to the country, I just visit the local market. I
Right.
observe what people love to eat.
Eat.
And that's how I also experimented lot of cuisine like Mexican, Italian. We can make Thai curry. We can make what not. We can make like falafel.
Mm.
In Ayurvedic way, pasta, cake. We can make pudding. We can make pizza from no gluten also. From amaranth, we can make pizza.
Oh.
Like our very dear and near cuisine, that is uttapam and dosa. We can make
Yes.
pizza on that and eat. So there is no end when it comes to food. You
Right.
can create as much as you want, and you can just enjoy that thing.
Yeah.
So there is no limit in Ayurveda when it comes to cuisine.
Okay.
You can make any kind of food from any place, and you can make it healthy and tasty.
And tasty as well. So there are enough alternatives that
Enough.
Ayurveda provides us. Now going back to, I'd like to ask a very basic question, because we've been repeatedly mentioning Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. If someone wants to adopt an Ayurvedic style of cooking into their lifestyle, I think they need to first understand their body compositions for Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Is this possible if they meet an Ayurvedic doctor? Would that be the first step of analyzing this?
Yeah, that is the first step, because when doctor will do your pulse diagnosis, precisely you can come to know about yourself, and then you can do some workshops like this Ayurvedic cooking to understand yourself after visiting
Right.
doctor and how to help yourself.
Okay. So that will be the first step.
Yeah, that
to
is the
understand.
first
Okay.
initiative step,
Right.
which is very important.
Important, very important. Because since we kept repeatedly mentioning, you mentioned that point, I'm sure a lot of viewers would want to know how one can diagnose this element within their individual body to understand the composition. So that would be the first step. And if someone wants to start an Ayurvedic style of cooking, should it be a gradual process, or can they start off immediately?
See, if you want to do it out of passion and love, it will be like immediate process.
Right.
If you are not bothered about learning it, then it can be like gradual process.
Right.
So I adopted in a week.
Okay.
I have done food and nutrition. For me, changing from what I have learned in my college
Right.
to Ayurveda, it have not taken a long
Long
time.
It was an easy
It's like
transition.
easy.
Yeah.
It depends on your readiness.
Right. So, for our viewers, I'd like to inform that Kaushani Desai is conducting a workshop on Ayurvedic cooking. It's actually ongoing right now, and the second batch will be starting early May. So, those of you who are interested, please send a message to our Channelry WhatsApp number. We will share all the details, and you can meet Kaushani herself and ask all your questions. Right? So, Kaushani, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure gaining so much knowledge on Ayurvedic cooking from you.
It's pleasure for me also coming here.
Thank you so much.